Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for coming this afternoon to our incident update. I'd like to take a moment and acknowledge the presence of 3rd District Supervisor Joan Hartmans, who's in the audience. Thank you, Joan, and Assembly Member Monique Lamone. Thank you for coming here today and representing. I know there's a 5 p.m. candlelight vigil at the Santa Barbara County Courthouse, the Sunken Garden Courthouse at 5 p.m. tonight, and both those people, representatives, will be there as well, so thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce Chip Hickman. He's the fire chief for the Montecito Fire District.
Thank you for being here this evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. Much of the area affected by this tragic incident lies within the Montecito community. In our time of need, our partners and neighbors from across Santa Barbara County and across the state have come to assist us. Today, Montecito firefighters are working side by side with our friends in support of our neighbors. More than 2,000 responders working together tirelessly to locate those of us still missing and to bring them home. We couldn't be more thankful. We couldn't be more thankful for the efforts of those in our EOC, the Red Cross, Caltrans, the U.S. Coast Guard, U.S. Navy, Southern California Gas, Southern California Edison, our Public Works Department, and everyone else dedicated to supporting this strong and resilient community. When rescue and recovery efforts are complete, it is the members of our EOC who will usher the rest of us home. This community is our community. It is our home. Our community has been tested, has proven its mettle, and will persevere through this dark time. It may have been a beautiful landscape that led each of us here, but it was a beautiful community that has kept us here. Our landscape has been forever changed, but our community will grow stronger. Agency closer to agency, neighbor closer to neighbor, closer than ever before. We couldn't be more thankful. Together, we will bring Montecito back. I give you my personal commitment that we will not tire, we will not fail, and we will see this through. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. I'd like to introduce Sheriff Bill Brown from Santa Barbara County.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for being here today. I'm sorry that the first news that I have to report today is that the death toll from this tragic incident is now at 20 people. At approximately 3:45 p.m. yesterday, the body of 30-year-old Pinit Sutitepa, nicknamed was located deceased in the area of Hot Springs Road near Olive Mill Road during search and rescue operations. A positive identification was made this morning, and his next of kin has been notified. We ask that you hold Peanut's family and friends very close to your hearts, as they are also suffering the loss of Peanut's 6-year-old son, Pirawat, who was known by his family and friends as Pasta, and his father-in-law, 79-year-old Richard Loring Taylor, both of whom were fatally injured. And additionally, Peanut's 2-year-old daughter, Lydia, is still missing. This family is one of several that has lost multiple family members. And we know that the suffering of those who knew and loved all of the victims is immense. We want you, the families of those victims, to know that there are so many people who are thinking of you, not just here in Santa Barbara County, but across the globe. And we extend to you our deepest sympathies. Tonight, there is a candlelight vigil that will be held at the Santa Barbara County Courthouse in the Sunken Garden area from 5 to 6 p.m., where we can all come together and begin the process of honoring and remembering these precious lives that have been lost. And you will hear more about that candlelight vigil later at this press conference. As we speak, there remains a massive effort to continue to find 4 people who are still reported missing. They are 2-year-old Lydia Sutitepa, 17-year-old John Jack Canton, 28-year-old Fabiola Benitez Calderon, and 53-year-old John Jack Keating. Sheriff's detectives are actively investigating those missing persons cases, and to report a person missing or to report or receive any information regarding this incident, you can call the information line at 833-688-5551. After secondary searches of all of the homes in the impact area that were destroyed or seriously damaged by the storm, and after careful consultation with the fire incident commanders and subject matter experts, at 7 a.m. today, we transitioned from a search and rescue operation to a search and recovery mission. This decision was not made lightly. This transition was only authorized after extensive searches for the identified missing persons were conducted at their last known location, through the debris field, all the way to the Pacific Ocean. And despite these tremendous efforts, it is now more than 130 hours since this tragedy occurred, which necessitates the need for us to transition to this search and recovery model. The intent of this transition will not be to remove any required resources, but to release resources that are no longer needed, and in order to not slow the search operations, or to allow, rather, the search operations to slow to a slower and safer pace. To that end, emergency and mutual aid resources will continue working on this incident, but will be reduced over the course of the next week. We continue to have a need to have Montecito closed off, in the most part, to normal traffic in order to facilitate the movement of emergency and repair crews and their vehicles that are operating in the area. And I want to again thank those displaced residents of Montecito who are evacuated for your patience and your understanding. We appreciate your support as we continue recovery efforts and work to repair infrastructure and to get this area in a position where it is safe for residents to go back in. We continue to get requests from people who want to go back into the area and into their homes for personal items that are needed, and we ask that you only make this request if it is an absolute necessity. It is not safe to be in the area, and if you are still in the extended mandatory evacuation zone, we urge you to leave. If you need assistance with this or with any other concern, please call our Emergency Operations Center at 833-688-5551. We've also received many inquiries from people who evacuated and do not have any information about the condition of their homes. And I'm pleased to report that the Emergency Operations Center has developed and made available a structure damage interactive map, which is located on the County of Santa Barbara's website at www.countyofsb.org. CAL FIRE damage inspection teams who compiled the data have completed about 30% of the assessments for residential and commercial structures impacted by the winter storm incident. The map will be updated daily as assessments are completed. The interactive map indicates the status of each structure inspected and indicates whether it was destroyed, damaged in a major way, damaged in a minor way, or in a minimal way. Santa Barbara County building officials, along with mutual aid building officials, will use this data to inspect each property for safety and determine the habitability of each of the structures or businesses that are in this database. And again, that map is currently available in about a 30% completed form on the county's website. I want to conclude my remarks today with a few thank yous. First and foremost, I want to thank the men and women of the agency that I am so proud to lead, the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office. I want to thank our sheriff's deputies, our custody deputies, our search and rescue team members, and all of the support personnel who are there to assist us and assist this wonderful group of people in doing the magnificent and selfless work that they have done. And during the last 6 days, I have not heard a single complaint from any of them. They're incredibly dedicated and incredibly invested in public safety. Next, I want to thank our brothers and sisters in public safety from throughout our county and from throughout our state. Those in the fire service, those in other law enforcement agencies, those from other search and rescue teams that have come in here and helped us during these difficult times. I want to especially thank CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 6 for the tremendous job that they continue to do in choreographing this very complex and difficult operation. And they are ably led by Chief Billy C. and a command team comprised of fire officials from throughout the state. And we appreciate it very much. And then lastly, but certainly not least, I want to thank everybody in the County of Santa Barbara's Emergency Operations Center, group of about 150 or so people who, since well before this incident actually hit, have been dedicated to protecting the safety of those in this county. And it is this group that is going to be in it for the long haul and who is going to be managing the recovery effort as we push forward, ably led by Rob Lewin from our County Office of Emergency Management and his team. And I just want to say thank you for the tremendous job that you've done and that we know that you will continue to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. I'd like to introduce Jim Shivers from Caltrans.
Thank you and good afternoon. I spent the afternoon today for the first time touring US 101 at Olive Mill and a great section of State Route 192, and it's not until you can see the damage with your own eyes that you can really come to understand the magnitude of the incident, the response that is necessary, but most importantly, the impact to the citizens and families of Santa Barbara County. So it was quite an eye-opener to take that kind of tour this afternoon. I'm pleased to report that we are making steady and sure progress on US Highway 101, particularly at Olive Mill. We have removed more than 150 yards of debris in the northbound lanes and nearly 80 yards in the southbound lanes. Much of this progress has occurred within the past 12 to 18 hours. We're now in an environment where the water has receded to a point where for the first time we're able to remove solid material that is closest to the roadway. So we're very pleased to report that news today. We have 75 personnel within Caltrans working on US 101 and State Route 192. They are working 12-hour shifts, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That also includes 7 Caltrans crews from 2 neighboring districts. On State Route 192, we have seen damage to 3 different bridges. Once we're able to open 192, we anticipate there will be some sort of restricted access or traffic control at those locations. And finally, we hope within the next 24 hours to have some guidance on a schedule for reopening US 101. Again, this would be based on the activity that will take place over that time. Again, we're seeing the water receding. We're able to really get into the meat of removing the heavy material on the base of US 101. So hopefully in the coming days, we'll have some more good news to share. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. I'd like to introduce Captain Cindy Ponce with the California Highway Patrol.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here again today. The 101 remains closed northbound at the 150 and southbound at Milpas still. We were happy to hear that Amtrak is adding train cars to help accommodate additional commuters. That started today. We have received reports of drivers whose navigation systems are showing them that they can get around the 101 closure, both northbound and southbound, but I can assure you that the navigation system is incorrect and you cannot get around the 101 closure on surface streets. You will be stopped at one of our traffic control points and turned around, so don't bother trying. I also had the opportunity today to drive through the area around Olive Mill Road in the 101, and seeing it with your own eyes it was heart-wrenching to see the devastation that this mudslide caused in that area. But one bright spot that I did see was all of our agencies working together to search for our missing people, our missing community members, and also to get those roadways open as quickly as possible. I also observed Caltrans working diligently on the 101 and making great progress in the short amount of time that they've been able to since the water has stopped coming in. And we just want to thank the hardworking men and women of Caltrans for all the work that they are doing. And I too want to thank the fine men and women of the California Highway Patrol who have been at this since the Thomas Fire started back in December. They've been working long hours, 24/7, being away from their families. So I'm very proud of each one of you. So thank you for all your hard work. And we still continue to lift the community in our thoughts and our prayers. And we ask that you do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Ponce. I'd like to introduce Tom Farum, Deputy Director, Santa Barbara County Flood District.
Good afternoon. While work on our creek clearing and bridge opening continues, I want to give you an update on debris basin cleanout work being performed by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The Corps of Engineers has now expanded its list of debris basins that it has contracts now in place and contractors either actively working as we speak or will be required to start work within 24 hours. Those basins include Gubernador Basin, Santa Monica Basin, and Franklin Basin in the Carpinteria area. Cold Springs Basin in Montecito has been at work for several days now. And we have awarded contracts for Montecito, San Ysidro, Romero, and Arroyo Paredon basins, with work to begin within 24 hours. I will say with the exception of Montecito, which is waiting for clearance from the search and rescue teams. That makes 8 basins, which will be in work by tomorrow, with 3 more yet to award. I'll close with also making a thank you to some unsung heroes. Many of the work has been done by public works crews, local law enforcement and fire crews, but our local contractors have come to our aid. Tierra, Lash Construction, Granite, Bob's Backhoe, and Pappage Construction, all working side by side with public works teams to get the road infrastructure open. And I would also say our transportation division is now initiating a new phase from opening the roads to making it passable for 2 lanes, which will increase circulation in the area. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. I'd like to introduce Suzanne Grimacy, Santa Barbara County Behavioral Wellness.
Good afternoon. My name is Suzanne Grimacy. I work with the County of Santa Barbara Department of Behavioral Wellness. The local Recovery and Assistance Center will be open on January 17th and will be located at Calvary Chapel, located at 1 North Calle Cesar Chavez in Santa Barbara. The center will be open from 11 a.m. until 6:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, and from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. on Saturdays. The center will be closed on Sundays. Child care will be provided on site as well as translation support. The center will initially be open through February 3rd and will serve as a centralized single point location for essential resources and services to help our community and members of our community to recover and rebuild. The center will be staffed by many local, state, and federal agencies and will provide counseling support, resource and housing assistance, information to aid in rebuilding, permitting, hazardous material cleanup, loss of business or employment, basic health and human services, and many other resources. The Family Assistance Center will remain open at First Presbyterian Church, located at 21 East Constance, from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. through Tuesday, followed by the local Recovery and Assistance Center opening the following day. The Family Assistance Center can also be reached at 1-833-688-5551. Again, the number is 1-833-688-5551. A community meeting will be held on Tuesday, January 16th at 4 p.m. at La Cumbre Junior High School, which is located at 2255 Modoc Road in Santa Barbara. A candlelight vigil will be held this evening from 5 until 6 p.m. at the Sunken Gardens in Santa Barbara. I wish I could share the many examples I've had a chance to witness of how our community has worked together to begin the healing, rebuilding, and recovery process. I did have the opportunity today to join many different congregations during their worship and to witness the recognition of what has happened within our community, of missing persons, and of lives that have been lost within our community. I sat with the First Presbyterian Church as they were joined by Montecito Presbyterian Church to worship together. All Saints by the Sea Episcopal Church joined Trinity Episcopal Church to be able to worship together. These are just some examples of how our community is in fact working together to recover, to rebuild, and to heal. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. I'd like to introduce Nick Turner, Public Information Coordinator for Montecito Water District.
Good afternoon. Nick Turner, correction on that, General Manager of the Montecito Water District. The district's first priority is protecting public health and safety. The boil water notice is still in effect for all customers. To help the community easily identify whether or not they are in a boil water notice area, an interactive map of the Montecito Water District boundary is available. This can be found on the district's website as well as on the County of Santa Barbara's website. We have 3 emergency potable water distribution sites which are in operation from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. We anticipate lifting this boil water notice in select areas, possibly within the next 48 hours. As soon as we have approval from the State Water Resources Control Board, the public will be notified. As we restore the system, we encourage the public to refer to the interactive map for the most current information. Here's the status on our progress assessing and repairing our distribution system. To begin with, the district is receiving delivery of water from Kachuma through the South Coast Conduit and groundwater production while the repairs are being made. We have concluded our assessment of our Highline transmission main, and there are a total of 7 breaks. 4 of these require temporary repairs. We expect to have 2 of the temporary repairs and 2 permanent repairs completed within the next 24 hours, and the remaining 2 repairs are projected to be completed by this coming Friday. We completed our assessment of the transmission main from Jameson Lake and have identified 2 breaks. Crews are clearing the roads, and as soon as we have access, those repairs will begin, which we anticipate to be tomorrow. In addition, to date, we've identified the following: 9 breaks within our distribution system, 1 of which has been repaired, 26 damaged fire hydrants, 11 of which have been repaired, and 150 damaged service lines, which have needed to be located under feet of debris and shut off to reduce the leakage. Assessments are ongoing, and this is an evolving list. It is a complicated process, and although the exact timeline is still unknown, be assured that we are acting with urgency. More information, more detailed information, will be provided to the public as soon as it is available. Lastly, the district continues to be appreciative of the tremendous support we are receiving from the City of Santa Barbara, the County of Santa Barbara, state, and other mutual aid agencies. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. I'd like to introduce Jimmy Cho, Southern California Gas Company.
Thank you. I'm the Senior Vice President of our Distribution and Engineering Operations, and for the past several days I have been serving as the Operations Incident Commander on the ground here in Santa Barbara. I want to first thank all of our first responders for supporting us, working with us in the field, and I think first and foremost for maintaining a sense of safety. That's really important to us, and thank you for that. I also want to acknowledge and just recognize, as many of you have also done, just the devastation and loss of life and property in this community. These are our customers. This is a community we serve. Our employees work here, and our employees live in Santa Barbara County. So this is real for us, and it's close for us. I think the one question folks have on their minds is, when will service be restored? One of the first things we have to do is make sure the system is safe, and that's a process of going out, finding areas of damage, making repairs, assessing, and then we can begin the process of safely restoring service. We will be posting additional information on our website We will be providing a map that will provide an aerial view of what has been impacted and areas that we have completed for restoration. I do have an ask of the community, and it's actually two asks. One is, as part of our restoration effort, it's very important that we be able to contact you and reach out to you. We need to enter the premise as we turn on the gas to inspect the appliances and make sure things are operating safely. If you go onto our website, www.socalgas.com, again, that's socalgas.com, and go into the My Accounts link, you will be able to update your information and help us. The second thing that can help us is the protection of our assets and the safety of the public. There's a lot of activity going on, whether you're a homeowner or you're a contractor, heavy equipment digging activities. Our facilities, our pipelines are buried. It's important that as these activities are going on, you're aware where these lines are at. By calling 811, again, that's 811, that's a free service that allows us to come out and locate and mark where our lines are at so you can work safely around them. In closing, I just want to thank the community for your patience, for working with us, supporting us, and we look forward to serving you soon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's our last speaker. I can open it up to a few questions. Tom.
I wondered if Tom Fairman could talk a little bit about the efforts to fix Montecito Creek and also the pipes underneath the freeway.
About the pipes underneath the freeway in Montecito Creek, Tom?
I'll allow Caltrans to address the pipes under the freeway. Montecito Creek has been an area where we continue to work upstream. However, we are making progress and we are feeling good about the creek flow being in Montecito Creek. We have to work downstream of the freeway to some extent, or a little bit, but I think overall, every day we make progress on this. Further up Montecito Creek is still an issue that we're working on as we speak. But as I said, each day, we make more progress. I'll let Caltrans address the pipes under.
That is something we can look further into on our end. I'm at the present not aware of any major issues with the pipes, but that's something we can get together and talk more about perhaps on the side. But I'm not aware of anything at this point, but we can certainly talk about that.
Question over there?
Yes, yesterday I saw a debris dumping site on near Chaparral above Oaks, and in the next rains, it appears to me, gravity-wise, it would come right down near Chaparral, across People Oaks and into the community in which we live. And I'd like to know if anybody.
Okay, the question was about the debris dumping off of Via Chaparral. And I'm going to let Tom Caltrans answer that.
I would say that I would welcome a conversation following this event. Get your address and contact information. We can certainly have our maintenance forces, I'm sure, would be glad to review that location and make any necessary improvements as needed.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Someone from Public Works for Ponce kind of explain if it's feasible to create any kind of storm drainage system or culverts in Montecito in some of these damaged areas, or if you feel that the drainage system as it is now is sufficient.
The question was about improving drainage systems in Montecito area. Is that correct? Tom, I'll let you answer that.
I would say it's impossible to create any drainage system to address the event that happened last Tuesday. There's a debris flow where in places I stood where the debris flow was 15 feet over your head and was not water. It was a slurry with rocks that are over your head and entire trees. This is not a drainage system issue. This is a debris flow of the likes we have not seen.
From the Caltrans perspective, I'd just like to add that as a routine matter, all of the culverts and drainage facilities throughout this county and the other counties in our district, much of that inspection and cleaning is done during the summer months in preparation for a typical storm event. But as was just indicated, this is a major outside-the-box incident which challenged facilities in multiple jurisdictions.
Okay, one question there.
We're expecting rain Thursday and Friday. What do you want to tell the people of Montecito?
Okay, so the question is we're expecting a little bit of rain on Thursday, Friday, and what to advise the residents. And Chip, how's that?
Yeah, so we're developing contingency plans at this time. The incident command team is developing contingency plans. We're watching it very carefully, and we will be keeping you informed. We would like for you to also stay tuned, stay connected to your notification systems so that we can get that word out to you and let you know exactly what type of actions you need to take.
Okay, time for one more here.
Can we get an update on the bacterial level in the ocean, the safety of the beaches, and when they need to be open?
The questions about the bacterial level on the oceans, I don't think we have anybody from the public health today. I don't have anybody that can answer that question, but the beaches do remain closed.
And as a follow-up, is there there's been criticism about bringing the debris to the beaches and obviously impacting the ocean bacterial levels further?
Right. Well, I happen to know that question, but does somebody want to talk on that? Yeah, let me let Tom Fraham take that one.
Yeah, as was mentioned, the health department continues to monitor the ocean. I'd also note that most creeks are still flowing into the ocean from the burned watersheds. That includes the Whittier fire too, by the way, hence the extent, and that is being monitored. The material going in there is the same material that already went there and would have gone there anyway.
I think what Tom forgot to mention, but he told me just yesterday, is all that material that's going to the beach is just clean mud, basically. There's no debris being dumped on the beach. If it's clean mud, it's going to the beach, so it just gets absorbed in. Okay, so today that concludes today's conference. Tomorrow we will not be having a press conference. The next meeting like this will be the town hall or a community meeting being held on Tuesday, 4 p.m. at La Cumbre Junior High School on Modoc Road. So no meeting tomorrow. Tomorrow's a holiday, and hopefully we'll have some updated information at the community meeting on Tuesday. Thanks for coming.